All right. Welcome to another edition of the Great Conversations with Nana Osagyefo. Yes, my special guests will all be joining in a bit, so just bear with us. Waiting for our learned colleague in the person of Teddy Amofa, calling Mr. TK, who will be joining us shortly. We also have the likes of Sir Adamu, who is already there. I tell you what, tonight's version is going to be very interesting. We just heard that the vetting committee in Parliament have got into setting or some kind of altercation. Quite interesting. We are waiting on our reporters as well to give us the very latest coming from that Parliament August House in Accra, Ghana. We'll be looking at also one or two from the international. Who is live with me. Adamu, welcome to the show. And how you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing fine. And yourself?
What can I say? Serving the people to the maximum with this selfless service in information, education, entertainment, and enlightenment. What can we say? As usual, Adams.
That's good. That's good. Good to hear that.
Great, great, great. So let me go straight and look at the vetting that is taking place in the Ghanaian Parliament back in Africa. One of the issues we'll be looking at. Adams, overall so far, what's your take on the vetting before I look at the issues and incidents that have been happening?
So far, so obvious.
You're picking me, yeah? Okay.
So
Can you
far,
hear me?
so obvious. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So far, so obvious. So far, so usual. Nothing has changed.
Right.
I think our vetting is in a form of showing the nominee, asking questions, some relevant, some irrelevant, and to endorse or to just have a pally talk, and the president will appoint the nominees. So there is nothing different that has happened. But it is unfortunate that Ghana is growing, but those in the helms of affairs seem not to grow along the growth of the country.
Okay, Adams, Adams, I'll let you. I'm just interjecting. I'm not cutting you off. Let me go quickly and welcome my very learned colleague in the person of TK. I call him Teddy Amofa. Welcome to the show. And how are you?
Fine, sir. Yourself?
Oh, well, what can I say? Can't complain. Selfless service to the people and to the masses, as usual. How was your day, Teddy?
Not bad, not bad. Everything was cool.
Okay, great. Okay, we have our other colleague, Adams.
Nana, I think you have to also wear a white beard because your show is becoming white-bearded people's show.
That's a good one. All right, that's a great sense of humor there to chip in there indeed. So Adams is with us, Teddy, and Adams is joining us from Leicester. Great to have you guys. We're also waiting for our reporters from that part of the world in Ghana. Teddy, before we go to the specifics, your overall view with the vetting that has been going on at the moment.
Well, it's interesting actually. The opposition they are there to oppose, and I think they are doing their job. Else it will be boring. They are being labeled as a micro minority, and I think they are putting up a fight, and it's making it interesting and not boring because with the overwhelming majority, superficially one would assume that everything will be rubber stamped, but it seems they are doing, eventually there will be an approval. But I think I'm surprised by the resilience of the opposition party. I'm just surprised. Actually. I thought the whole thing would be one-sided.
Right. Okay. So the indulgence, of course, also makes it quite interesting. Yeah, and it's good to have diverse and opposing views in everything we do to grow the democracy. Now, let me go to a few specifics with the vetting. Um, Today's vetting, for instance, we saw the likes of Sam George and opposition leader. I'm not going to call it micro minority. The opposition leader, with all due respect, querying him about the LGBT and the Chief Justice who adjourned one of his rulings and was supposed to have give a judgment on the date, which she didn't. And I think some job took to his Twitter. Finger marking with the leader of the opposition really grilled him a bit. I don't know if you saw the exchanges. It was quite interesting. And I want to know if you've had a preview of the interjection between Sam George and Afenamo. Have you got any glimpse of that?
Well, I saw it, but I wasn't privy to the case, and
Right.
so it's difficult for me to. But I think Sam George was a bit diplomatic now compared to when he was in opposition. I think it
Right.
was said in his statement, in his utterances. I think there was a bit of a shift compared to when he was in opposition, and now
All right.
is in
It's a
government.
bit.
So I think.
Okay,
Sorry.
let's go to Adams. Adams, Afenyo Martin's questions to Sam George regarding the LGBTQ plus, and then Sam George taking to Twitter during the 2023 when the case was referred to the courts. What's your view on that?
I think Sam George stood by every single thing he said when he was in opposition, and he stood by it with emphatic answers of yes and yes and yes. Afenyo Markin, as a minority leader, his questions were under the belt. There wasn't anything meaningful in what Afenyo Markins was asking. If I were in the seat of Afenyo Markins, the questions I was going to ask Sam George was, you vehemently sponsored the bill on LGBTQ. Now you've been nominated as a minister of state. Are you going to force your president or the president of Republic of Ghana to sign the bill if he goes back to parliament? Or are you going to sponsor another bill so we will debate upon it and then send it to the president to sign it? Because now we know that the bill is dead. The death of parliament, the expiration of parliament kills every bill that the outgone president hasn't assented. So are you going to do another one? Then Sam George will come up with whatever answers he's got. But you're not going to ask him to paraphrase what John Mahama said, in as much as the minority leader was trying to put a spin on what John Mahama said. This has clearly given the Ghanaian the understanding of what John Mahama said when he met the clergy, that not what was reported in the media was what the president of Republic of Ghana said. So
Okay, let me
it's a
go
very
to
clear answer given
yeah,
by Sam George to
Adams.
also
Yeah,
further embarrass the minority leader for asking a question without being objective of his questions,
okay,
and he's still in
let
the
me
propaganda mode.
All right, Adams, we got a lot of issues to sift through. So let me get a response from Teddy. Teddy, any response to Mr. Adams' assertions?
Well, I'll beg to differ because in regard to the, I think you have to look at it from a different perspective in the sense that when the previous government were in power, there were issues to do with that, and I think I look at it from a different point that the president at that time, Akufo-Addo, there were two sides to him in regard to the issue of LGTB. Remember, he was a human rights lawyer for over 40 years. And when he was being interviewed, you could see two things. You could see the instincts of as a human rights lawyer and also as a politician. So there were two issues. So anytime he's asked questions, you could see me from that two different angles. So it depends on who interviews him. If he goes to the West, if he's interviewed in the Western world, the Western media, you could see him shifting around that angle as a human rights lawyer, not as a politician per se. When it comes to Ghana, he talks as a politician. So it boils down to his audience. Now, also remember that it was difficult for him to implement the due to his.
Okay, I think I lost the voice of Teddy. Teddy, are you still there?
I'm there.
Uh, I think Teddy, I've lost your voice. I lost your voice. Let me let me try them. Are you still on? Can I?
Yeah, I'm on. I'm on.
Oh, I think Teddy is back. Teddy, are you back?
Yeah. Yes, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teddy, we lost your voice a bit. Can you take it from just the end parts so that yeah, you were
Yeah.
making a point.
I was saying that the difficulty of the previous president, if Mahama was in that position, I think
Yeah.
he would take the same decision in the sense that he had one arm tied behind his back in regard to the loans, IMF loans, and the conditionalities attached to it.
Do,
So
do you think that we should compromise our national institutions, our culture, our real being for loans from IMF and Bretton Woods institution? How far has these loans helped us? And do we even need the loans at all? We don't need them. We should not forfeit or compromise our integrity for something that is not going to be beneficial to us. This LGBTQR something that they are talking about, it went to parliament, and the majority of Ghanaians, who are the representative of majority of Ghanaians, said no, we are not going to allow it. So it is not a one
Okay.
person that is saying that I'm a president and I
And then
have
we
endorsed it.
continue.
It is the entirety of Ghanaians that say no. So
Yes,
Akufo-Addo has no reason not to appended his signature on the bill if it were sent to him. But to my understanding today, the bill even never got to Akufo-Addo's table because it was prevented from getting to his table to be appended for him to assign to append his signature on the bill. So the MPP in the first place thwarted the effort of the president to append his signature on the bill, on the law, to make it a law.
Okay. I think we'll be joined by my good friend Godfrey. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can hear
Godfrey.
you.
Okay, Godfrey with me now, and I'm so grateful because our other female reporter and then other reporters couldn't get through. Now we have Godfrey. Godfrey, please, can you give us a quick summary of the latest coming from that part of the world, please?
Okay, I'll say good evening to you and Ademu and the rest.
Yeah,
I can see.
my other guest is called Teddy. So Teddy, yeah.
Oh, okay, and then to Mr. Teddy. Uh,
hello.
I can see you people were in the serious business. I was a little bit late because I was trying to at least prepare myself
That's fine.
before.
That's fine. No problem.
Yeah. So I will say that I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I couldn't. Uh, so Nana, if I will just say that Ghana is quiet, cool, and calm. As you already know, Ghana is one of the peaceful country that everybody wants to be here. It's only that our economy and other stuff that is not that appreciated by other world. But Nana, quickly, let me go and start from Parliament. What is trending here in Ghana? You see, still the appointment committee or the vetting committee is still working because president uh, appointees should be there to answer certain questions and give other clarification as to whether they can do the job or they cannot. For this week, and Nana, you are aware that since last week that one of social activists raised a concern. According to him, he's just doing a whistleblower. So it's just he raised a concern accusing members of the appointment committee that they do or they have been taking money from these appointees. So
Do we,
this
do
week,
we really have a background noise from one of the, excuse me, one of your television sets? I don't know which one. If there is any TV on, can an individual try and put it on a lower or on a quiet for us, please? Okay, Godfrey, continue, please.
so I'm just talking about a social media activist. That's Oliver Baka Vomao. Last week, just raised an accusation against the vetting committee members that they have been taking money from the appointees. So this week, the minority on the appointees decided not to continue the vetting until this activist came before he came before the committee to answer certain things or come out with other clarification as to the corruption allegation level against the parliamentary or the vetting committee. Nana, that's why I can see. I think there's one story that trending against a member of parliament from Nsawoma Adrejiri, Anodompre, and
Right.
acting CEO of Petroleum Commission arguing because she believed that the minority has to sit on the committee and vet the appointees. So it just turned it was so chaotic. A lot of people has raised concern about it that her utterances wasn't good to insult a certain member of parliament to that extent wasn't good. So she just come out to apologize. At least the minority was just telling the committee that they should just invite the activist, that's Mr. Oliver Baka, come up, Vomao, to come to the committee and answer certain questions that they believe it will just tarnish the image of the appointment committee members. So that's where they decided not to continue the vetting process. And this confrontation between uh, Olivia Emefa had castle between Anodompre was according to her, she was just telling or asking the honorable MP to sit and continue with the vetting process. But they believe that since someone has raised a concern that is a bribery allegation against the committee, they need to investigate or ask questions before the proceedings of the committee continue. So this is one of the issues. But in the floor of parliament, both sides has condemned the issue. In fact, the Minister of Education even said the lady or the acting CEO of Petroleum Commission should come out and apologize to the Honorable Member of Parliament from Nsamoma Drejiri, and because he believe it can happen to any one of them for this. So Nana, this is one of issues that is trending this week.
Okay, thank you so much, Godfrey. And now let me go to my learned colleagues. Let's look at the issue of Oliver Baka Vomawa or Vomawa. Okay, this is to do with this is to do with a bribery allegation that if the nominees are paying money to the vetting committee. Is that the case, Godfrey?
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Okay.
Rather, it was a Facebook post that he did,
Yeah.
that some
Okay.
of these members are taking bribe or asking money from the appointees. That's
Okay.
where he was just.
I've
That's
got
what he
it.
said.
Let me go to my learned colleagues, Adams and Teddy. Please, I take this issue very seriously. Even if the vetting committee hasn't been taking any money, I want us to look at the broader picture, where there's an image that even when you are going for a job in any of the institutions, whether private sector, small scale businesses, all the sectors of work. If you are a woman, the bosses need to sleep with you, or you have to pay money before you get employed. This is ridiculous. I'm not saying that the vetting committee of parliament took any money, but what I'm saying is that, are you two guys, including Godfrey, surprised such an allegation is coming up, even though if it's not, proven? Let me go with Teddy. What do you make out of it? From a brother Andrew.
Well, there's been rumors in the past, so I think it's been consistent. But the point is, it's difficult to prove because, for instance, there were surprises. I remember when Howard Kumsin or so, if you recall, Howard Kumsin was being vetted, and I think the minority at the time, who are now a majority, they objected to some things, and they thought she wasn't fit to be a minister. And all of a sudden, for unexplained reasons, the same people, I don't know whether through pressure or something, started with the government. So we had all these allegations in the past.
Yeah.
But I don't know what is a perception or what. But so when his guys said they've got it, well, if you go by conventional wisdom, you rely on rumor. I think without evidence, I think that's where you be pinned down. But there's always a perception that there's corruption inside parliament in terms of governments doing this. There's always rumor, even as far back as the Kufuor time and all those things. And even to pass controversial bills, they say money changes hands. So you hear all these things going on.
Yeah, then you look at it also from the other institutions and the private sector, which
Nana, let me come in. You see, this issue is a very controversial, and it's an issue that we need to look at it with eagle eye. So we have, if not perfect, if not absolute, we have some form of a serious House of Representatives, a serious August House that will work in the name of Ghana, for Ghana, and for the entirety of Ghanaians. The various committees in Parliament has been acting like class one groupings or sittings in a classroom. You look at various appointment committee, as Teddy made a reference to Howard Kumsin, to the then finance minister, what's his name, Oforiatta, and some of the ministers under Akufo-Addo, the nominee under Akufo-Addo, who appeared before the Parliamentary Select Committee. Even a layman, even, excuse my language, somebody who hasn't been in class one before and who hasn't any in-depth knowledge about politics and understanding of governance would tell you that these people are not fit to be ministers. And certain members in the appointment committee made people to believe that these people are not qualified to be ministers. But after the sitting and they resume, they come with different perception and different ideas altogether to support the government to appoint those ministers. And lo and behold, we had a minister, a then MP, who was also a minister, Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe White, who came and said that after every sitting, the watchman of the president, when I mean by watchman is the chief of staff of the president, who come and share money, give monies to the members of the select committee. One, the members of parliament are not supposed to take any money outside their official money given them. Anybody that gives them money is in a form of enticement. Any money that they collect outside should be registered, so they will be accountable to it. Why were they giving that money? Who gave them that money? And why was the money given to them? These are some of the things that encourage corruption. So we know that the appointment committee was taking money, bribery. They were bribed to endorse the nomination of the president then. So what prevents it from happening now? These are some of the things we should know. And I was surprised that Oliver appeared before the committee and did apologize. He could have used those instances to say, look, if a member of parliament who was also the deputy majority leader has made this statement on radio, I stand by it and I say yes to what I've said. Ghana is for us all. You don't let anybody bully you. If they will not come to the appointment select committee, they should sit at home. We don't need them. We want better Ghana. We are far below the threshold of international politics. We are not doing what we are supposed to do to move the country ahead.
Yeah, Ademo, your points are well noted. Let me interject a bit. I think with the Oliver Venmore war, I watched the whole proceedings, and I think that he only apologized because I think he needed to substantiate and bring facts out. And of course, there might be some element, but he couldn't. So on that basis, apologizing doesn't take the actual points he wanted the general public to know. I think it was
the
clear.
select committee summoned Joe Wise to appear before them to either substantiate or retract the statement he made by saying that the Chief
Okay,
of Staff was given money.
let's also let's on the same issue.
Nana,
Yeah, yeah, go
Nana,
on.
please let me come in here.
Okay,
Joe
go for it,
Wise,
go on.
the reason why Joe Wise at that time he wasn't summoned or he wasn't asked to come to appear before any committee because there was no vetting process going on at that time. He was just making his own allegation, and he didn't even mention any vetting or any like what Oliver Baka Vama did. He just he did a specific post that this vetting committee has or they are taking money from the appointment. But as for Joe Wise, he was just saying, he even said that the money always comes from the presidency to give it to the members, not like what the Oliver said. And I believe the reason why Oliver did apologize was that this appointment committee has the powers of the High Court. So when you appear before them and you don't have any evidence to back your claims, they can prosecute you. That's why when he was going there, he went there with his lawyer who
Yeah,
was
so that's it. Yeah. Okay, Godfrey, let me go to Teddy. Has been quiet a bit. Teddy, do you want to add to what we be? I think Teddy, I wanted to look at the bigger picture away from the vetting committee to the fabric life and workings of the populace of the Ghanaian populate, which also trickle down to the rest of Africa. So, from the Pan African angle, why would leaders of institutions and managers be sleeping with women before they offer them job, taking money before they offer them job? Let's take the military, the police, and all those things. If you guys can look at it, I want to use this particular subject to address that issue, which is a fabric of the society in Africa.
Well, I think I would look at it from two different angles: our
Okay.
society, one, and also the weakness of the law. I always say that we are what we are because of our culture, either good or bad. And secondly, that also emanates and has affected the rule of law. The law is only on paper. The, the laws are equally as good as any law in any part of the Western world. But the weakness is implementation. That's the problem. How do you implement it? Because a friend of mine sent me a shot today of a senator who's been jailed for 7 years for taking bribe in America.
Yes.
I don't know whether you've seen it. Yes.
It is 11 years.
And
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years.
Yeah.
And the question is, can it happen in Africa? That's the question. So the point is, if you remember this during the last parliament, if you remember, there was double payment, and a similar thing happened in the UK, and some, including prime ministers and ex-prime ministers, some were forced to repay the loans they were given, and some went to prison. Can it happen in Ghana? Looking at the double pay system, I think it was rumored that I don't know how truthful it was. It was rumored that there was a connivance between the government and the opposition, that they would turn a blind eye so that when there are controversial bills, the opposition will also support. That's the rumor I heard, and so that case was dropped. So the point is the law, and I will always quote what Obama said, and it has affected us. He said, "We need strong institutions, not strong men." But I would think you need strong, principled men with a strong institution, because I think the fabric of the institution should be strong in the sense that the men, those at the helm of affairs, would die and go. But if the institutions are strong, I think those coming will be compelled to subscribe to the law. If the law has teeth to bite those in authority, then I think that's a good start. But if the laws are weak and those in authority keep getting away with it, then we're just going around. It becomes a vicious cycle.
Okay, Ademu, looking the point we've made against the vetting community, the corruption, there's a saying that the rotten fish starts from the head. And if the tops are rotten, it of course trickles down the rest of the fabric of the society. This apparent way of taking money from, applicant before employing them, and also sleeping with women before employing them, and all those things. How do we get it addressed properly? Even though we know the law is there, if they want the law to work, it works. If they don't want it to work, it doesn't work. And how can we come out of this partner?
Let me start by saying that you gave an adage that the fish will rot from the head. And yes, indeed, is the truth reflection of what is happening back home. I quite remember Chairman Sabonsu and others were sent to, as a delegation, were sent to China. And they came back home in parliament and boasting of being gifted mobile phones. They were enticed with mobile phones and they were very proud in the August House saying, oh, we were giving mobile phones, and it's a form of enticement. And anybody that seems to be enticed is just getting a bribe. And in our laws, the laws of the country, they state that even if you give a gift, the beneficiary of the gift must declare it and pay tax on the gift that is being given. And every member of parliament or anybody appointing to become a public servant must declare him or her asset to the public. So we must know. Now, you have CEOs of parastatal organizations. You have the directors of ministries. You have security apparatus, operative in the security services, who gives what is called nowadays, they call what is it? I've forgotten the rubbish name they've given to corruption in Ghana now. When you want to employ somebody in office, they call it I think Godfrey will be able to help me. They call it what is the name? They say he has this, so you can bring two people in the police. What is it called? I'll remember and tell you. Now, all those things should be checked. As Teddy said, the laws of the land are equally good as laws in the United States, but we haven't got
that was okay.
Principled.
We've got him back. Adamu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we lost you a bit, but carry on. Try and run it up.
Yes, the laws in Ghana are equally good as every law in any part of the Western world. But the reason is we haven't got men with integrity and reputation to implement those laws. We've got weak men in the helms of affairs. Example is, how can a chief justice, a learned man, whom should have known the best to know that, should have known the right to know that a birth certificate is the birthright of an individual in any country, and it precedes every document that makes you a citizen. You buy gold, the birth certificate, you place premium on a passport instead of a birth certificate to acquire citizenship card. What an idiot. How can a learned man, how can somebody with, so you see, the men that don't have integrity and reputation to protect, they are the reasons why we offer employment to the person that can open the wide larger, the thigh larger than somebody who is meritorious. We offer employment to the person that have got the deepest pocket than the person that can do the right job. And for that matter, we are not getting anywhere. So we need right institutions. Yes. We need strong institutions. Yes. We need, but the institutions are run by humans. we need people with integrity and reputation to protect. And it's about time we name and shame people. So if we name and shame them, I think with time we will build integrity and reputation, because I wouldn't want my daughter.
Yeah, I think the point is quite clear. Like Teddy said, the Senate in the US been jailed for 11 years. And that's breaking news, powerful indeed. And can the same be said about Africa, let alone Ghana? And so the point on the move Teddy and Godfrey are all making is that if we can have a zero tolerance of the rule of law, the implementation, and this calls, various calls to family members, higher places when one gets a case is also an issue. And I'm sure this is why Voice of London Radio and Radio Television are addressing this particular, and I took it from the parliamentary angle to widen it so that it will get to the fabric of society and we can forge ways and find holistic solutions in solving this breakdown of the rule of law and this selective justice and whom issues that we face.
The word was protocol. He's got protocol. The protocol syndrome is what is destroying the country.
Right. Okay. So guys, this particular issue that we've addressed is a very serious issue, and that shouldn't be the case. Because why should a young woman or a lady go looking for a job, qualified? You need to sleep with her before you give her a job. And why should you take money from an applicant who is coming to work before? That's so sad. And we hope this government that has come in, we can push this particular thing through the corridors of powers, and then something could be done. Okay, let's now look at the issue of the.
I think Teddy had wanted to add something, Nana.
Okay, Teddy, please go on.
I'd like to correct the previous speaker in regard to birth certificates. I don't think birth certificates, even in this country now, is acceptable as identification more than the passport. So if you go somewhere right now with a birth certificate as identification, I don't think that it will be accepted.
No. Birth certificate is the premium identification before passport. There are a lot of, if you check the data in this country, there are millions of people who don't have a passport. Even to the age of 70, they don't have any cause to have a passport. Your birth certificate gives you every right in this country. Your birth certificate makes you do a passport. If you haven't got a birth certificate, you cannot acquire a passport unless you go through several avenues to acquire citizenship.
Hello, are you guys okay? Please, I think everybody's fine. Now let's go to the issue of the Samam MP. I'm not done prayer with the lady CEO of Petroleum. The utterances of referring to the member of parliament for being silly, and I knew we've had a lot of, it's been trending, and various people have also shared their own views. Godfrey, what do you make out of that?
Nana, for me, as I said, even after that incident, the members of parliament, both the minority and majority, condemned the action because this vetting process is being taking place at the premises of Parliament House. And when you are not invited to that place, you will be questioned why you are there. And to me, I just wanted to ask one question, that the woman wasn't there to be vet or something like that, because these CEOs and MDs, they don't appear before the committee. So I don't know why, because the honorable MP was just asking her, why are you here? You are not invited. So to me, find the Honorable Haine Dusu has just apologized to the Honorable Member of Nsamoma Georgie to see and also take it as our culture, how we always deal with ladies or women's here. So, and to me, I would say the utterances was bad, and she should have know how to.
So tell me, Godfrey, what was the exact utterances?
Nana, she just called the honorable MP, or she just said, "Silly boy, am I talking to you?" Because the honorable MP was just asking her that she's supposed not to be here because here is only people who have invited and the appointees. So I don't know. Maybe the woman
Okay, but
didn't take it. Nana.
Godfrey, let me go to Ademu and because we've got one or two to act before we bring the whole show to a close. Um, uh, Teddy, the word silly, is it the whole silly word that is causing the hula baloo in the August house? And the vetting, the people who are being vetted, are they allowed to bring family members and other public people they know to the vetting? I'm just asking. I mean, go
Well,
ahead.
I think the word silly. Well, if you make a transliteration to our language, silly means wejimi, and if you look at it from that angle, then I think it's deemed an insult. But the point is, so I always think the culture connotation should also be taken into account. Well, in the West, being silly is an utterance being said. It has become a daily utterance, so they don't make a meal out of it. But from our perspective, if you look at it, if you say "don't silly," and the person will look at it and say, "Hey," if you translate it, it means simply, literally means wedging me, being a fool or so. So from that angle, you can understand where the man is coming from. But I'm not sure about the composition of who to bring, or I don't know whether you're allowed to bring. I know some people come with their relatives, but I don't know the arrangement as to whether you have to fill a form or you have to let people know beforehand the type of people who are coming or the number of people you can invite. I don't know whether that's the procedure. I don't know as to why she was there. I don't know. I really don't know as to whether she's supporting her colleague. I'm not quite
Mr.
sure on that.
Mr. Teddy, let me come in here. When we are going to the appointment committee, mostly they allow them to invite the people that they want. All these the appointees go there with family members, these
Yeah.
opinion leaders, chiefs, and other stuff. But for you to go and tell a member of parliament to sit and vet someone, that's where lies the problem, because you can't ask him to sit and continue the process whilst he thinks that there is an issue that they have to address. So that's the two that is just what I can say now, Mr. Teddy.
So was she trying to, I don't know, was she trying to overreact or what? I don't know. I
the,
really
the,
don't know
the
that
whole the
the
whole the
contentious.
whole the whole process the whole process was what started was that the minority raised a concern about the political social activists, that they are taking money from these appointees. So the minority decided before they can continue the vetting, they want that man to come or to appear before them to ask certain question, or why or what, or his evidence that these committee members are taking money from the appointment or the appointees. So that's where they were arguing that they would not sit and continue the vetting process. That's when the woman was just forcing the MP, or when you go to the chamber, he's deputy chief whip, so he has a position. So that's why she was just asking or like forcing him to sit. to continue the vetting process.
Okay, we've got a real link again. Are you guys on there?
Oh, I see.
Yes, Nana.
Yes, I sincerely apologize. The link broke for a while, and I probably my producers did their very best to get us back on. Thank you so much, producers. So I'm now on the Another Prayer CEO Petroleum Lady. Adamu, what do you make out of it? Yes.
I think the whole thing is unfortunate, and there should be a proper arrangement in Parliament. There should be a proper protocol, and they have to ensure that when they are vetting presidential nominees or when any select committee is sitting, they should have a guided principles, and we should cut down the number of private individuals that are allowed into the chamber for support. Support for what? What are they going to do? Are they going to work as the minister's aide?
Yeah, but Adamu, let me interject a bit. I think the support and family members coming and friends to support somebody who's going for a vetting is an arrangement that they have there already. I want us to focus on the word silly. If the word silly is such a bad word that the whole parliamentary vetting committee has to go into a chaotic, gear and all the back and forth thing. I mean, being silly, to me, I think it's much ado about nothing.
Nana, don't forget, we live in a country when you tell somebody, what do you mean? That turns into a brawl. That turns into a fight. What do you mean? What do you mean? Say, what do you mean? Say, what do you mean? That brings a fight. So before she uttered the word silly boy, there was something that preceded it. What preceded it? Another prayer asked there, according to what the reporter is saying, who invited you here? You see? So the member of parliament doesn't know who allowed her into the parliamentary premises. That's why I'm saying that there should be a proper protocol. Yeah, but so anybody that is coming. Look, Nana, Osagyefo, I frequent Westminster. Before I go, I have to have my badge to tell me that every MP that meets me in a corridor knows that, oh, this is Adamu coming from this way to see this.
Adamu, I'm not referencing Westminster and equating Westminster to the Ghana August. What I'm saying to you, and the heart of the matter, is that family members and friends and colleagues are allowed, depending on the one who is being vetted.
Yes, I understand.
Exactly.
So does the MP, is he aware that family members and colleagues and friends and concubines are allowed in the August house?
And this is what
why did he ask that silly question?
Exactly.
So he's silly. If he's aware that they allow, he's silly. He's dumb. He's thin.
Godfrey, you coming, but
he's
the point I'm raising is where Adamu is going at the moment. I'm of the view that saying the 1992 Constitution and the ushering of the of Parliament, they allow their family members and friends to come to the vetting. And so, if this petroleum guy,
they allow them to come, but you can't order a member of parliament. And let's
Godfrey, hold on. I saw a bit of a video whereby everybody was speaking. They were all shouting, talking on top of their voices. And as you people do, you do this, you do that. So the lady was also in that chaotic mood. There was a chaos.
Because when like,
it wasn't that lady alone. All what I heard, I saw the video, I saw what the VT that was going on. So the MP was indeed silly to have asked that stupid question. You see, she was even diplomatic. If it were to be me, I would tell him, don't be stupid. Why do you ask me this stupid question?
My other point, Godfrey, Why?
I would have said that.
I'm coming, Godfrey. So, why should the MP single out that particular lady to ask her what is she doing there when the general public and family friends of the members who are being vetted are allowed in? So, for all you know, she could be a friend of the person who is being vetted. So, why would the MP turn around and ask her that question? That is I want to know why.
Yeah, Nana,
Can you
MP,
shed light on it for us?
MP wasn't worried about the acting CEO being at the premises. But the the MP's problem was that for someone coming outside from Parliament, ordering him to do a job. Nana, I don't think someone.
Are you saying the woman? I'm coming. Are you saying the woman ordered the MP to do a job,
that's what happened. He was just ordering him to sit and continue the vetting while they were raising concerns about the process. The minority was raising concerns.
Godfrey, can I ask you a question? Did the woman go to the vetting room to order the MP to sit, or they were all in an auditorium when everybody was speaking on top of their voices and the woman also jotted it?
That where they were was in the auditorium. That was the vetting room. And the minority side raised a question.
Everybody was already up, though. Everybody was already outgoing.
Nana, hold on. You are not getting it. Nana, you are not getting it.
Okay, educate me then. I think I'm missing it. Yeah.
Before they start the vetting process, Oliver Baka Vomawo has raised a concern accusing them being taken what? Bribe.
Yeah.
So they decided to invite the man before the proceedings will continue, because they can't go to the vetting, or they can't continue the vetting process where someone outside the vetting committee accusing them of taking bribe. So according, the minority wanted the activist to appear before them, before they can continue any vetting process. So it was just making this how should I, making a whole hula balloon in the room that they cannot continue. So the woman just, everybody was, oh please continue, just ignore, we cannot do like
Godfrey, you see, Ghana is of age. We have to do everything right. The minority in sitting with the vetting committee were already aware of what Oliver tweeted or put on his Facebook page. So the right thing to have been done was to have petitioned the chair of the committee in advance to halt the sitting, the following day's sitting, until Oliver appeared before the committee, before they would continue with their sitting. They did not do that. The perception of the entire sitting was, we are coming for a sitting, and then they registered their dismay, which is chaotic, which is not right. We should start to do the right things. That's why we go to school.
Mr. Demu, let me come in here. Let me come in here. It's not that I just want to interject your submission, but sometimes some clarification has to be made. Before that very morning, the minority registered their displeasure before that day started. That before Oliver Kevo appeared the committee, they are not going to be on the committee till the man appeared before vetting process start. So they registered their displeasure before that day. So the majority were trying to, as you know, the proceedings in the house, try to maneuver their way so that the vetting process can continue. That's where the whole issue started, because they were the minority before that day asked the chairman to invite the Oliver Kevo before the vetting process starts the next day. So they are aware that they have registered their displeasure.
So, according to what you are telling us now, or you are telling me now, there is no proper negotiations in that country, and there is no negotiations in parliament. Because
It's
if
not that
I have
it's
hold
not
on,
that there is
if
no.
hold on, if I have communicated to you that because of what the chair of this show has done, I'm not going to appear before the show, the subsequent ones, if he does not come to me to explain
Okay,
Yes.
Adam,
the reason. Why
Godfrey,
should I
Godfrey,
come the next day? That means there
Adam,
is no.
Adams, please bear with me. Let's have some decorum here. My question is that the word silly, silly, I'm not going to pray, you are silly. That is what I understand the lady was going to apologize about. And I did not hear any grievances about any other thing but the word silly boy or silly. So I'm saying that we shouldn't import anything other than looking why the word silly to an MP should cause a whole chaotic scene in the vetting parliamentary premises. I find it, my personal and candid opinion. Everybody can have his opinion as well. I think much ado about nothing, and I stand by that because silly, there's school children on the street. Stop being stupid. Stop being silly. All around us. And I'm sure most of you also have children at home. Silly, I don't see why the word silly should bring the whole parliamentary to a halt. Anyway, let's move on. I think I've been signaled by my producers that we've had enough time. We'll continue. And so let me go around you guys to give me your final words with regards to this interesting digression that we'll be having, especially the bribery is issue where Oliver Bakawobama was actually invited to the vetting committee. But I want you guys to look at how we can fight the stinking corruption, bribery before you take on people as employees, and sleeping with women before giving them jobs. How do we get that stigma out? And then the word silly. Let me go with Godfrey. Godfrey.
And I would say this topic we have to have another day to discuss this. But
Okay.
I will just
We'll
I will
have that.
just
So our time is, our clock is this.
because of the time.
We'll definitely have another time on these particular issues.
Yeah, Nana. So before I'll let my other panels jump into it. There's other stories that I want to just
Okay, then be quick. Yeah.
in since we are just discussing about parliament, this evening there was, I don't know how to describe it. In fact, when I will send you some of the videos, very disturbing videos. When
Yeah, I've seen some where there was a lot of altercation and heckling. Yeah.
I don't know whether it's fighting, because as I said, this majority and minority is just creating so many confusion in parliament, because the minority always or the majority always want to have their way, and the minority also want to have their say, and that's what uh, is happening here, because the minority believe the time was not good, because the minister for communication designate, Sam George, was there. Then they believe that it's late, so the proceedings should postpone and continue tomorrow. But the majority were no, we should continue. And the whole place was mess because the microphones, the tools that they are using to work was, I don't know how to describe it. I
All,
was just saying,
all flying around. I saw some tables being dragged and people
I was
chairs
like,
being
everybody in the room was disturbed because it was simple, something that these two
Godfrey,
couples should have
Godfrey,
understood
Godfrey.
and move on.
You see, the
Mr. Demo, let me finish my
speaker,
stories.
the
Let me
deputy
finish.
speaker was asking stupid questions that the chairman should have stopped him, or his colleagues should have said to him, look, ask question like a lawyer. I'm surprised that guy is a lawyer. What is going on in our country? We have to start biting the bullet. We've got square pegs in a round holes. That's why we give this accountant who has created oil company, we give them 90% and we give a country 10%. We've got stupid people in the hands of affairs. What is going on in Ghana?
Mr. Adamu, no, let me finish my stories and come in with your submissions. There's another.
Why should we waste time to give him? Do you know this stupid thing? Why?
Mr. Adamu, let me finish my stories, please. Let me finish my stories because I don't want to talk about these MPs and other majority.
Let's hear your story.
There is other stories that was trending throughout this week. Where it was about the appointment of Professor Ransford Jampo, who is happening to be a law lecturer at the University of Ghana. He's now the acting CEO at Shippers Authority, and people are saying so many questions about his appointee. Before the election, this man and other people like Martin Kpebu was in the TV3, lambasting the then government here and there, telling Ghanaians that they are the freedom fighters and they want the betterment of this country. But this appointment has bring another issues when people believe that they were just doing Goro Boy's job because they know when there is change of government, they are going to get appointment by that. So this has been the issues trending here when people are just worried about other stuff because they believe their comment and their submission before election was very, very interesting, and that's why it's even changed a lot of people's mindset to vote in that way. But for them to getting this appointment is that they were just doing a political job rather than being a neutral person. So Nana, these are stories that was trending this weekend. I don't want to talk about this minority and majority issues because they should do better. They are sometimes the reason why Nana, when I don't want to be coming or giving my opinion because some of these MPs, not some, all of them are married and they have families that they take care at home. So when you come out and be behaving like this way, it's something that disturbs a lot. So that's why sometimes I don't want to talk about them, and because when you were there, then you can't even stay in the room because this big guys, this honorable MPs fighting over common word that they can even come together and agree on one thing and move forward, but they decided to just fight. I will call it fight because you can't be taking out tables and removing microphones and people were pushing at each other.
Let me give my good friend, Leonard friend, Teddy has been quiet for a while. Teddy, sorry about that. Yeah, Teddy, your final submissions, please.
Well, in regard to the appointments, I think it's is more of an extension of the previous government. You realize one thing. Um, I've always held the view that in politics, when it comes to appointments, it is not competence per se, but loyalty to the president. And if you compare the two presidents, X and now, you realize that it's loyalty. And if you look at Mahama's appointment, all the guys, even those who you don't come across as NDC supporters, because of their vocal issue against the previous government, you could see that they are all being given appointments. And the same thing applied to the previous government appointing journalists who were dancing to their tune. And so I always hold the view that these political parties, they are two sides of the same coin. When in opposition, they are like moral apostles or Latter-day Saints, recycling their how do you call it, their policies, and getting the sympathetic view of the electorate, and they get to power. Once they get to power, they change color like chameleons. They are all the same. So I'm afraid that's the way I see it.
Okay.
I'm being extremely objective here.
Okay. And you are trying to be very diplomatic as well. Okay. Ademu, have the final closing words. Yes.
Nana, we look at Professor Ade, who was adamantly, who was vociferously against John Dramani Mahama, was awarded a position. And when he got booted off, he started insulting Akufo-Addo. But one thing we have to look is that we need to get competent people in the helms of affairs. Every Ghanaian is a Ghanaian, whether he's Professor Jampo, Professor whatever. If he is a very competent, I think he deserves to serve his country, and we should give them a chance to do that. Again, the minority MPs don't want this constitutional government to continue, and they need to be curtailed. They need to be stopped. We have to tell Ghanaians that every institution is governed by law, and MPP should do themselves a favor. They should immediately do themselves good to appoint people who are much more competent. I believe they've got competent people to lead the party in parliament. They should quickly do that, because the minority leader, to me, he's nothing but a rebel rouser, and he's not going to get the party anywhere. Seeing as the party has been given the difficult blow, the hardest blow in their existence in the Fourth Republic, they should do a good work to harness the sympathy of Ghanaians again. This hey ho wouldn't help the party. I spoke with a very powerful person within the party who is saying now MPP is a cabal, it's a court. So they don't even want to get near to the party. We want MPP as a political party in Ghana to hold the NDC into account. And we need all hands on board to make Ghana a better place. Thank you, Nana.
Okay. All right. Why shouldn't it be the other way around, when the other smaller parties can become the next opposition party, and then the cycle will go around, and then NDC?
Nana, it's like this everywhere. How many political parties have we got in England? How many political parties have we got in America? But the only two parties in America and England will still win.
But don't just look at England and America. Widen the horizon and go back to other major countries and developed countries. Sometimes third, fourth parties are able to come to power. Sometimes they form a coalition too. So
yeah, we form a coalition, but we are not.
I'm coming. I'm just saying we shouldn't just look at UK and America. So we need to widen, and then we can get the job done. Like, I agree with you on the aspect of the law.
Okay, let me cite Iran as an example. Iran they've got two political parties. It's either one or the other. You see, so the only thing is we have to re-conscientize our mind. We need a mindset change.
I understand. My producers are pressing me hard. So, guys, I'm so grateful for your indulgence. Sir Teddy, my good friend, we'll be meeting at Thomas More, okay?
Nana, try to manage your time well. Try to manage your time well.
Oh,
Your
now wait a
moderation,
second. Are you bringing the betting to this program as
Yeah,
well?
the bet in the Ghana style. The Ghana
your
style of
moderation
it.
Hey, Godfrey.
no other.
Oh,
Your moderation
This
is
is
not
the
good. You
Ghana
know how
style.
to.
put your ass like in Ghana. No wonder they are fighting in Parliament. Anyway, on a good note, yes, on a good, from the humor side, and to a very good round of applause to my reporter Godfrey, my learned colleagues Adams, and of course my very very learned colleague as well, with no means repute in the person of Teddy Amofa. I'm grateful to my audiences as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because we've got powerful programs
Nana,
coming
may I
your way.
know, is the Teddy of Isa Dwala?
No.
Okay.
All right. So this is where we bring the whole show to a close, and I'm grateful to you, especially you, my audiences, worldwide audiences, and thank you so much, and God bless you all. We love you to the maximum.
Parliament, in Parliament.